It's 6 a.m. now. The day is starting with washing the bedclothes. And today I will skip the morning exercise because... just because. Because I'm going to the north. And I don't have enough time for it. And uploading the photos then. All the electricity in the area turned off. Immediately. Interesting. Strange, yeah. Undoubtedly it's strange. So, I'm going to start my trip, and at first it only left to water the flowers. Yeah, to water the flowers. And that's all. At least I have the lamp, but the problem is that the bedclothes is locked in the washer, in the washing machine. So I'm not able to go anywhere till the electricity will be turned on. It's not that it is impossible to open the door, but still it's wet. It's extremely wet. I mean, it's wet because it left 15 minutes here till the end of the washing process. 15 minutes, yeah. And that's why it's not dry, because it was dry in these last 15 minutes. So I think the best choice for now is to put them on the dryer and just go, because I got up today especially earlier to spend the day in the city. And I don't think that the electricity will be turned off in even 1 hour, because maybe it's something serious, because all the houses outside are dark and black. Even the lanterns, everything is dark outside. So yeah, really the best choice from my point of view is to start the trip right now. At least it was rinsed, and it was not so much water in the washing machine, so it was able to open it without the little flood. And it's clean now, so yeah, I think it will be enough for it to dry after 2 days. I hope so. And it's also started to become bright outside, and all the windows are black. All the windows are black outside. Interesting, nothing say here. And I'm going to changing the towels and starting my trip finally. Welcome to Blackout, the local disaster. Yeah, I'm sure it is local because my cell phone receives the signal from the transmitting station, and it means that somewhere nearby the electricity is not turned off. So it's not that bad. Here I see the lights. And it means here that the problem is ultimately local, or maybe it was turned off just right now. And also I see the lights in the windows in the houses ahead. So yeah, that problem is local. But it actually was so quiet. It was so quiet behind me because, I don't know, because of the lack of the vehicles and the electronics turned on. Just like in the forest, at the empty streets. The real apocalypse. Yeah, but it's actually sad. It's actually sad that the electricity turned off, because that's the reason why I started my trip 30 minutes later, and I'm actually not sure what to do with the washing machine, because there is the water inside it. I turned off the water and we'll do something with it. Tomorrow, yeah, or today's evening. When I came back, I mean. There are the lights ahead in this house and there, so it's just a local problem. There is still feeling the aftermath of the snowfall. I mean, it's easy to ride through the clean streets, but those places that are covered by snow are ultimately off-road for the bicycle. But that's not a problem, because I can ride with the vehicles. Yeah, and I will ride with the vehicles after the next crossing, so it would be not so bad. I see that the crossing lights turned off. Strange. Why? Maybe the problem is bigger than I expected, but actually all the houses, all the insides of the houses are bright, all the rooms inside. So only the street lights turned off. It could be a problem to cross these crowded crossings, but I have no choice. The electric buses are turned off. I mean that, yeah, maybe the, how to call it, the service electricity line. The service electricity line for the trams, buses and the crossing lights. Yeah, maybe it's still turned off, but why my house was also turned off? Because these houses are not. There's no outage here in this area. Ultimately no outage here. Strange. Okay, I've reached the white church and the electric buses are still not moving. So, and it's all empty now. But the new problem appeared. I noticed that all the streets, almost all of them, are dirty because of the lack of the vehicles and because of the snow that is still falling. The snow is still falling, yeah. It's still falling, but there are no cars to melt it. There are no cars with the warm tires to melt it, unfortunately. The crossing lights turned on just right now, just right after I finished to talk in the previous monologue. So it took at least an hour to fix that problem. But everything is okay now. The crossing lights are functioning, the trams are moving, and the electric buses are also moving. I wonder what is happening in my room because, well, just because. But I actually turned off everything, the electricity and the water, so it could not be a disaster or a problem in there. I want to believe in it. The vehicle roads are still empty and it's still fresh in the air. Great, that's why I like Saturdays. As I always say on Saturday and on Sunday. But actually it took 1.5 hours to fix the problem because I checked the watch and yeah, it took 1.5 hours. So, but it's actually pleasant that I've reached one of the crossings that is not so comfortable to cross with pedestrians, but much more comfortable to cross with the vehicles. And that the lights turned on because without them it would be much harder to cross it. But now it's okay. Deeper inside the city center, the crowder the streets. Yeah. I'm planning to make 2 stops today. One stop is in the park in the city center, and the second stop is in the forest on the outskirts. So the park is not so far ahead. No, it's actually far ahead, 2 kilometers or something like that. But still. The February calmness, the Saturday emptiness. Yeah, the Saturday emptiness. Wanted to praise the bus lanes for their existence again, but they are so dirty that it's kinda impossible to move through them on the high speeds. Impossible to move through them on the high speeds because of the lack of the vehicles and the high concentration of the snow. But I have no other choice. It's better than nothing from my point of view. I've reached the second checkpoint. The first one was the White Church, and it's for some strange reason also dirty here, dirty around on the ground. But the snow is not falling. Well, the snow is actually the real problem today because it's extremely hard to move through the streets with it. Extremely hard and danger. It's only possible to move with a slow speed, with a slow speed like I'm doing it now. Better than nothing, but not that comfortable. I finally reached the turn to the park that is in the end of the street. And you know what? It is easier to move for the pedestrian roads. For some reason they are much cleaner than the vehicle ones. I don't know why is it happening. Because it's usually the opposite. Yeah, the opposite. But today the pedestrian roads are extremely clean compared to the vehicle ones. Great. It's good that there is some sort of alley on the street. So convenient to move through it. It is a bit sad that only in the city center that sort of road can appear with these lanterns. You see these adorable lanterns. Yeah, and the benches everywhere. Sad. I've reached the local subway station, and what did I notice? That there are crowds of people as supposed to the city center, and the park is not far away from here. Actually I see it in the end of the street, the trees. I want that sort of the trees to appear in my neighborhood one day. Maybe not all of them, but only some of them, maybe 3 or 5. Yeah, it would be great, because it avenue type, or how to better call this street. The street with the trees and the pedestrian road in the middle. Some sort of it, because it's so cozy there. So cozy and quiet. Great. Now compare the pedestrian road and the vehicle road. The density of the snow is significantly higher there for some strange reason, but it should be the opposite. Quite the opposite, just like it always is. And I finally reached the entrance. And the roads here are even more rough than on the roads. So I think I'll just go on foot with the bicycle in my hand. This park was also built to look like an English landscape garden, just like my local one. But compared to my local one, this is more crowded because it is right in the city center, and the size is a bit more. No, they are the same, but I don't know how to compare it. It looks like more small, but they are the same. They are the same. Maybe because I don't know. Maybe because of the crowds or the people. Because it's Saturday and the people are hanging around it, just like me. And I'm going to find the bench near the lake and spend maybe half an hour there reading something. Great idea, because it's kind of far from my house and I will not go specifically to visit it. Only during the trips to the north, because it's so close to my road. There probably was some sort of a theater in the past, but nowadays it's closed for some institution, for some state institution, and all the benches all around this round. But I'm moving to the lake. Yeah, it's on that side. Okay, I see it because it looks even more tinier than always because of the buildings. Yeah, I can see the buildings on all sides of it. That's why it looks small, but actually it's not that small. It's a landscape garden, landscape park. It looks great because it's just some piece of the forest right in the city center. So convenient for the locals, so convenient. Because compared to the other artificial gardens, this one is supposed to be natural, or maybe it's just old. I don't know, maybe it was organized, opened so old, so far ago that it looks like it's a natural forest. I said that this park's supposed to be crowded, but today is the Saturday morning, so it's almost not crowded compared to its usual state. In the middle of the day, for example, or especially in summer in the middle of the day, yes, crowds of people moving around. But now it's quite fresh, as it should be in the garden, and I almost reached the lake. The lake is in the end of the park and its eastern side, and here's the pavilion right near the fence, and there is the lake on the left near the palace, and I'm going to choose one of these benches. Actually, it's also possible to see it on that side, but no, I'll choose this one because it's brighter here, some sort of an open space. Here is some sort of the podium on this side, right behind these two bridges. It's actually kind of cozy here during the summer because the sun is rising behind me, and it's quite comfortable to look at it from this bench. Undoubtedly. So let's stop a bit and read something. There are even some hills around, as expected of the landscape park. And I'm moving ahead. It became kinda cold after 40 minutes here. Not that cold like it was on the sunny day. And it was extremely freezy. But still, I'm moving to the next stop, to the next checkpoint. I mean to the bridge and then to the forest in the outskirts. Giant children recreation facilities right in the middle of it. And the birds are singing and flying around just like it's spring, but not the middle of the winter. And the next hill reached, and what can I see? I see that this scenery is quite gorgeous, yeah. Quite gorgeous. Don't forget that we're in the city center. And I see some sportsmen running, some joggers running around. Maybe it's some sort of the school. Yeah, there are a lot of schools. Maybe it's the children running. They have the physical education here. It could be possible, yeah, or students. Or students. There's actually not the only one lake that I've been before. It's actually the river, but this place also can be considered as a little lake from my point of view. Yeah, in my opinion, this place is splendid, looks splendid because of its water and the landscape and the hills inside. And of course, if there is the water, there's also the bridges all around. Compared to the outside city, the snow here is pure white. Pure white, the real winter scenery, as expected of the garden. And I've reached the entrance, I mean the exit. The gates, yeah, the gates. And moving ahead. Moving ahead right to the end of the street, to this gorgeous, this adorable, marvelous, not marvelous, just adorable street. And to the right. The winter serenity. Nothing to say here, nothing else to say here. I've reached the end of this cozy street, of this cozy clean street, and the dirty overcrowded avenue is waiting for me. The dirty overcrowded avenue. It's not that overcrowded, but dirty. And the trucks full of snow indicate that it would be clean till the evening. Yeah, till this evening. Or maybe not, because there are a lot of workers cleaning it. A lot of them. Finally, I've reached the third checkpoint, the bridge. This scenic big bridge. Great. Maybe I could make a stop here, but no, I'll just cross it on foot. The best solution for now, from my point of view. The snow is cleaning intensively this morning. A lot of workers and a lot of trucks and these things, I don't know how to call it actually, are cleaning it. Great. It will be ultimately clean this evening. It's supposed to be. But actually the snowfall was not this night, it was last night. I mean the day before yesterday. And it's supposed to be clean now. Because I saw the cleaners yesterday. For some strange reason the streets are still dirty, extremely dirty, compared to the normal state. Maybe the reason is that the snowfall was even this night, yeah, also the snowfall, but I actually didn't look at the window. Maybe that's the reason. Maybe it was the second snowfall. Yeah, I think that's the reason, because it could not be so dirty after the whole day. Because if the road is in this state in the city center, I wonder what is waiting for me in the outskirts. And here is the snowy disaster. And I have no choice but to choose the pedestrian line. It's surprisingly clean, because it's supposed to be much dirtier than the weekly roads. But no, at least I have pedestrian roads. almost all the vehicles now are entering the city, so the opposite direction line is almost clean under the vehicles, but the line that is directed to the outskirts is not. No, it is a total disaster here. Total disaster. The snowy disaster. I hope that it will melt till tomorrow's morning, tomorrow's day, or till today's evening. Yeah, till the evening. I hope so. But it's -5 actually, and it's not obvious. Will it melt or not? Glory the clean pedestrian roads for their existence. Always dislike this narrow road because it's impossible to move together with the pedestrian. If the pedestrian will appear in front of me, there will be no choice but to stop, because it can't overtake me. It would be better if you were moving with this trace behind you, but no, you're staying. Deeper inside the outskirts there are the roads. Only some parts of it near the entrances to some organizations are cleaned, but in general, no, it's a total disaster. It's even hard to move through it on foot, and on bicycle it's possible to move through it not so fast like I'm doing it now, with a low pace, with a low speed. The snowy disaster. You know what is the dirtiest part of the whole road? The slope. The upward slope is the dirtiest part. But the sceneries here are pretty, undoubtedly. Nobody is cleaning the streets in the outskirts, literally no one. It's sad but true. All the workers are in the city center now, but it's still dirty, even in there. But here it is a real disaster. The real disaster, and I'm actually reached the 4th checkpoint, the park, the forest. And I'm going to enter it because, well, just because I came here. It is safer to move through the park itself than through the neighbor streets, because it's even wider here. I mean, the streets are similarly dirty, but they are at least wide. Yeah, at least wide. And because of the ski traces, it's even easier to move through it, because I can move on one of the ski traces, and it's actually plain under it. That's what I'm talking about, the ski roads. But I'm here not to walk around, but to sit on the bench and to read something for a half an hour in this winter scenery, because it is definitely worth it. Yeah, one of the best stops on my way, one of the best stops the bridge, the big bridge, and this forest. Actually, I usually going a bit wider, not wider, deeper, yeah, deeper inside. But today is not that condition. It would be actually good to ski around it. A lot of people doing this. A lot of people doing this. Yeah, because that is the winter. That is the winter. But I'm on the bicycle. Maybe another time. Today I'm going to spend it just sitting on the bench and looking around and reading something. Comparing to the outside city, this place is awesome. I mean, yeah, that's the real winter. That's the place where what is the best to spend the winter time. I think I could stay here for another 30 minutes, but it's actually cold, so I'm moving ahead. And as I said before, because of the ski walkers, the roads here are much more better, much more plain and flat. I'll move through the park till the end of it, but not through the outside street. Great. Definitely, that's the best place to spend the winter. Ultimately the best one. The real winter is living here. It was extremely unexpected to realize that the cleanest place in the city is the park, is the forest. Extremely unexpected. It's even possible to find the lanterns around, but actually I'm kinda deep inside. And the birds are singing amid of the quiet air and the trees. It would be good if all the roads today in the city, all the pedestrian roads, would be such flat and plain like this one. Like this one. Yeah, definitely. No, really, it's extremely strange to realize that the cleanest and the most useful road is inside the forest. I'm literally inside the forest now. It's a park, but it's so big that it could be considered as a forest, and it's so empty deep inside it. I mean, near the entrance there are a lot of people and ski walkers, but here I'm all alone. But actually I'm moving outside. Yeah, I see the road deep far away, far away, and I'm moving in this direction. Because this road leads to the exit of this park to the crossing that I needed, with the big tower on the left. And it left only 20 minutes till the destination. But the best part is behind. The fourth checkpoint. Yeah, the park is behind me. It would be only the dust and the dirt ahead. Only the dirt, without the dust, and the sleet, the snow, some sort of it. It was a mistake to say that the only dirt will be ahead, because the roads were surprisingly cleaned, the pedestrian roads, not far ago, and they are much more comfortable to move through than the city center ones. Whoa, at least it's better than nothing, yeah. The last 20 minutes of the way is better than nothing, from my point of view. Glory this area's local government, because the pedestrian roads are ultimately clean compared to the city center, but the vehicle roads are still in the bad condition. Great job, nothing to add here. Also, I almost reached my destination and I'm not sure will I go somewhere today or not. I think that the laziness and gluttony is my plans for a day. Why not? Because it's Saturday, some sort of a day off. So, or maybe I will go somewhere, who knows, who knows.